All right, i3x team, I want to take you through something that I started to talk about in the meeting this morning, and this is how I am assigning a formula to how much money I can make through this marketing effort. And this is all a theory at this point. It's all conjecture, and once the numbers start to come out, I'll adjust this accordingly. Okay, so I start here. I've got this high converting landing page here. Very simple. Picture of the product, headline, give me your email address, and you get the book, the ebook. Okay, so remember this, and then the other thing to remember. Let me just put in my email address here. Is that once they get the book, once they sign up to get the book, they get a video here of me explaining how to use it, but then there's also a special offer here that's $27. All right. So important to remember, I had that landing page, then on the thank you page, there's a special $27 offer. You got to remember those two things. And I've got this spreadsheet set up here that I want to take you through the numbers, the numbers and how I expect them to work. So let's say, and this is for Facebook ads. Okay, so this is for Facebook advertising. This is not just for me. This is something that any of you can use in your businesses. The numbers will be different, but any of you can use this. So here we go. Let's say I have a $500 budget, and I am getting a cost per click of $1. And I'm just going to use that for round numbers. We might tweak that in a little while. So what that means is I will get 500 clicks on my ad, and my ad will be sending people to that landing page for the ebook. Now let's say I get an opt-in rate of 50%. Okay, so at this point, I have spent $500. I got 500 clicks at $1 a click. Opt-in, meaning they gave me their email address. Only half of them gave me their email address, which means I got 250 opt-ins. That means my cost per opt-in is $2. So I spent $2 per opt-in at 250 opt-ins for my budget of 500. All right. So now here, this is the roll-up of everything here. My email list size is 250. My net profit or loss is negative 500, of course, because I haven't made any money. Let me just change that to currency. Okay, so I made negative 500. So, but now I've got an opt-in list of 250 people. So now I've got that tripwire offer of $27. And let's say I'm able to do a conversion rate of 7% on that tripwire offer. So at this point, I made 17 sales of that tripwire offer, which brings my gross profit on that to $459. Okay, that's 17 sales times $27. So now my net profit and loss goes down to negative $41. So essentially, at this point, I spent $41 to build an email list size of 250. Okay, my gross profit at this point is, and that should be currency as well. Let me just change that. So my gross profit is $459. Okay, but I had a spend here of 500, so my net is negative 41. All right, and so we'll tweak these numbers in just a minute. So now, once I have these 17 people who I've made sales to, they're a very special group to me because they've already purchased from me. So now I can offer them a bigger offer. And let's say it's a $500 offer. And I get a very low conversion rate on that. Let's say 2%. So 2% of these sales, still very little. I didn't make any. So my numbers are all the same. And I don't want to go much higher than 2% on that. I mean, I could try 3%, but even 3% isn't making me a single sale. So I'm going to leave that at 2% for right now. And so now now we have all of this. So I have an email list of 250. I spent $41 to make it. the value per name on my email list is a negative number because my net is negative $41, and divide that over 250 names on my list, so every person costs me $16, 16 cents. So that's just on this very first iteration of Tripwire offer, which is a low offer, followed by a larger offer. So, all right, I'm okay with that because I spent some money to build my list. But what are the things that I can easily change? So things like cost per click. If I do a good job with my campaign, we saw Deanna at 38 cents a click. Let's be a little more conservative and let's say it's 0.5 or 50 cents a click. So now this is where interesting things start to happen. Because at 50 cents a click, I now get 1,000 clicks. My opt-in rate at 50%, I have 500 opt-ins. I've doubled my opt-ins. And now it's only cost me, has only cost $1 per name on that list. So now my email list is 50. If I change nothing else, I haven't even made one sale of this larger offer here at a 2% conversion. My gross is $945, so my profit after that initial spend is $445, which is about a 1.89 ROI. So that's neat. Now I'm operating in a very lean capacity, but my value per name, that's the value for each name on my list, is still 89 cents. I spent $1 to get that name on the list, but they're only making me 89 cents. So I really need to drive this up because I would like the value per name to be around $3. So let's see the other thing, the things that we can influence to make that happen. Let's say we go with Deanna's example from today, which is 38 cents per name. That's $38. 38 cents per name. Now I'm making money off of every name in the list. I'm not making much, but I am making some. I'm making $1.13 for every name on the list. And my ROI is almost 2.5. It's almost a 2.5 ROI because my net is 742. Let's bring these decimal points down since we don't really care about that. Clean this up just a little bit. And now my list is 658 people large. So the other thing that I can tweak is my opt-in rate. And your opt-in rate is really dependent on your lead page and really how simple it is. And I'm going with just a dead simple page. Here's what you get. Here's what you have to give me for it. You get it for free. Just dead simple. So let's say we got an opt-in rate of, what if we got an opt-in rate of 60%? So now some pretty magical things happen. Because my net at this point is almost $1,500. I paid $500 to make $1,500. And look what happens at that point. That's where I make my first sale. Because my list size grew to a point where I could make that one sale of that larger offer that I've only offered to the Tripwire people. So that's interesting to me. I made that one larger sale. And that's just by my opt-in rate going to 60%. Ultimately, I want the value per name on my list to be about $3. Or about 3 times what I pay. So in this case, the cost per opt-in is 63 cents. So that's that magic right there. So the magic is cost per click of about 38 cents and an opt-in rate of 60%. What I really want to try to do is I want to try to drive to a 75% opt-in rate. At a 75% opt-in rate, my cost per click is 51, or my cost per opt-in is 51 cents. And my ROI is almost 5. It's almost a 5 times ROI. And the value per name on my list is $1.89 net. Okay, so that's very compelling to me. So the things that we really want to work to tweak, because your budget's going to be your budget, is we want to tweak the cost per click. So doing a good job with your Facebook campaigns will lower that cost per click, and your opt-in rate. You tweak those two things. I suppose we could tweak things like this. Like what if I made, so let's bring this back up. And let's bring this back up to, let's say it's $1 a click. All right, and so now my value is low. It's a little bit bigger than a third of my cost per opt-in, so that's not very good. My net is very low. But let's say it's $1 per click. Let's say I'm going with that 75% opt-in, but let's say my Tripwire offer, which will convert at about that same 7%, is now $37. And let's say that this Tripwire isn't getting anything at that rate. So what if we could increase this conversion? We do a good job with sales. We can increase that to 8%, or even look at this, 7.5%. So what's interesting about this is at 7.5%, so not a big increase in conversion, but and a small bump in price, our net is $536. So we've spent $500 and we made $1,000, so we netted $500. So we bought $1,000 for $500. So that's pretty nice. A lot of people are very happy with a 2 times ROI, because this means I could go out. And hold on, let's bring some of these numbers back to something maybe more realistic. Let's go with, let's say it's a 70-cent click, and I keep the opt-in rate at 75%, and I leave that at a $37 offer. All right, so let's say we're there, and I'm still not selling any of these larger ones. So when we do that, let's see, really quick. You can see how all of these numbers start to work. So this is almost a 3 times ROI. So now if I want to blow this up, right? So let's say, my net was $980. Now let's say I take that $980 and I spend that on that's my budget for next month. Let's say I take all my profit and I spend that next month. So I spent $980, and now for that particular month, I start to make some of these sales, and now I made $2,400 in that month. So now let's say I take that $2,400 and I do that up here. So I take 100%. Now I netted $6,200. Yeah, so you can see how if I'm going to spend $2,400 per month, I can scale that to making $6,000 per month. So now let's say at that third month I take that $6,000. Let's say I take $200 and I buy dinner or something. And let's say I spend $6,000 here. So now my net is $16,000 per month. And I'm selling these like crazy. And I'm selling these like crazy at $37. So let's take this back to, let's bring this right back down to the ground and be at $500. Sorry, that's $5,000. We'll go with $500 here. Cost per click of, let's call it $1. I'm going to keep my 75% opt-in rate because that's really what I'm going to target. Bring my Tripwire offer back down to 27, which is where it is right now. All right, so here I am, and my budget for month 1 was $500. And I made $256. So what I would probably do is say my budget for month 2 is going to be that same $500 that I spent month 1 plus the $256. All right, so I'm keeping things very conservative here. And so now I take the budget that I had for month 1 and I add the 256 to it for month 2. So let's say I take that 500 again month 2. So now I'm at 756. So watch what happens. Month 2, 756. And now I profit. My net is 378. So let's say I do that one more time with that another 500. So that's 500 plus 378 is 878. I'm getting so close, so very close to that 500 here, that 500 net. So now I made 445. So I add that month 4 to the 500. If I have a $500 a month click spend, and so that's 945. And now look, now that is where our net just keeps, this machine just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, but every month I'm adding 700 names to my list. So this is just isolated to 1 month. Your email list size is going to grow, and you can keep offering that tripwire offer and having that grow and grow and grow. And that's a much more complicated spreadsheet, which I will do another video on showing you how this can work. But ultimately, I'm isolating this just to 1 month. Generally, I think 3 months is a good amount of time to work with people on this. But bring it back down to the ground, and let's say we take a $500 spend at $1 a click, and we are even at a 50%, at a 50% opt-in. That's where we're just about break even. So we built an email list of 250 and it didn't cost us, it cost us 14 bucks. All right. So now, and we can extrapolate this just a little bit. So now let's go to month 2. We'll call this month. So this is month 1. I'm doing it. I'm not even going to wait. I'm just going to do it now. So now here's month 2. So month 2, let's say we just keep everything consistent. Okay. And in month 2, it's going to be hard to do the way I have it set up. But in month 2, at the end of month 2, your email list size is now 500. And so now at the end of month 2, all of these numbers apply to where you have, all of these numbers double actually, because you've got a 7.5% conversion on a $27 tripwire offer. So you'll make almost $1,000 at that point, and that's probably when you get about 1 sale here. So by month 2, you could be in a very nice profitable position if you just keep this rolling. Very complex what I've just talked about. I wanted to make it into a video so you could watch it a couple of times, but this is how I'm thinking about things, and these are probably going to be my offers, although I think my offer to tripwire buyers is probably going to be more like a $1,000 offer. We'll call it $997. And so now I can start to look at these numbers and see where I start to get those first sales. And those first sales start to happen if my opt-in rate goes up to 75%. Not even there. Cost per click maybe at 0.8. Not yet. I'm not going to go above 75% of my opt-in rate. So what if I drove this down to 0.7, 0.6, 50 cents a click? There we go. So that's where I make my first big sale, is here at, if I can get 50 cents a click with a 75% opt-in. And that's where I make that first sale on my large tripwire offer, or my offer only to tripwire buyers. So those are the numbers I have to try to work towards, is lower cost per click and a high opt-in rate. Okay, send me your questions, and I'll do a spreadsheet where it maps it out month by month by month. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just turn money making into a formula at this point. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this. Please keep this private between the i3x group. Thanks. Bye.